Hi. It's always like a question as to when this is going to turn on. Hi, welcome. Happy Saturday. It is the weekend. I had such a great night of sleep. Always Friday. Fridays and Saturdays, man. Sunday scaries are real, but that's a thing. Anyway, let's get to it. My name's Katie. I do the New York Times crossword puzzle every day right here, either for your enjoyment or maybe puzzle solving help or just to see how the New York Times puzzle works. And today we're tackling the Saturday. Full disclosure, I've been on a streak this week. If you haven't watched, I've been crushing my average times. And because of this, I get antsy the night before when the puzzle gets published by the New York Times. So once again, I did it in the evening because I wanted to. I was like champing at the bit for the puzzle, but also I think a lot better at night. And so uh, when I'm relaxed and I'm doing this in the evening on my own, I solve it on my iPad while I'm watching some TV, and it just rolls quicker. So I decided to do that today. Tomorrow, Sundays, every Sunday I do a solve with me. That will be an actual join me in the struggle. So today I'm going to talk through my solution and foreshadowing. Things went well. So let's go ahead and get started. And before I turn this on, let's get some solving music to uh, accompany us. Okay. And let's have a look at how things went. And I will talk you through the full solution. Hang on. Just want to adjust this ever so slightly because you need just the right amount of solving music. All right, so Ryan McCarty brought us the puzzle today, as always, edited by Will Schwartz. This, so lovely, a lot of wide open space here. I started off ambitiously. Let's just say that unite. I wanted it to be the right answer. It was not. And I will figure that out pretty quickly. This particular, for me, the northwest corners are always the worst. I have a real hard time with those. So it's funny that I always start on them. I thought this could be ahoy, 17 across, and totally kill it. I just thought sleigh has to be the answer because ahoy is here. I believe that ends up being correct. Pathetic is sad. Kind of like this clue and the answer to the clue. You know, sad. Hip hop artists, that's never going to be an easy answer. And here I was like, ha 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 ha. I was thinking about camera spec. I should have gotten this one earlier. When I do get it, I'll talk about why this confused me, but it was clear to me that I was not going to get this corner. So I filled in sad and I kept on moving. For a while I was thinking like har har, but obviously that doesn't fit. And multi-billionaire, had no idea. This in my head as I was solving, I'm like, I bet this is Syrah, but I didn't want to put it down kind of not knowing. So I had that in the back of my head. Heel, I was thinking cad maybe, and I don't even know what an alligatorid is. I think it's a species. Yeah, so I fill in cad here, and this particular corner was really sticky. As I was doing it, I was like, oh, here's the end of the streak for me. I was not feeling good about that. So racking my brain. Yes, and here I think, oh, hang on, Freudian. This is going to be dreams. And I thought bad dreams made a lot of sense. So came over here and guess what? This brand is always OXO. So I switched this over to sex dreams, which makes a lot more sense. and then I can fill that in, and 13 then becomes apparent to me. Oh, I tried Ted Williams here. I don't think so. I don't think so. I went a little bit too far back in baseball. But I then think, hang on, this is maybe road something. I'm not sure if I filled this in at the moment, but I do know that the Formula One, the Monaco, is a road race. I've watched bits and pieces of that before. This one, I kept wanting, oh, hang on. Okay, so Adrian Brody, and guess what? That's not exactly correct, but we'll figure that out a little later. This one I liked. I've been watching a lot of British TV, especially Graham Norton. He says it all the time. One may be hanging by a thread. I was like, I had no idea. And no clue at this point. But I came back here and I thought, what about isn't it? Isn't it? And I was like so proud of myself for knowing that because I watched the BBC. Birds and tree squirrels are nesters, which is a word I cannot remember ever seeing in this puzzle before, so that's exciting. And this then made sense to me to say road race, which is correct. Now here, I had Irene. I felt good about it, but then, oh, and this one gave me pause because I was like 2 A's, but it's actually Ma and Pa. So, okay. And then I could see here the start of something. This team, yeah, I was like, I thought Cayman might be spelled Y with a Y, and I was like, is this weird? I mean, Marie Curie was Polish. Yeah, so I thought candle might be hanging by a thread. And that gave me Milan, and I could not remember if it was UC or AC, so I left that open. And blocks I thought could be bands, and submissive sort was beta. I think I thought about this for a while, trying to figure out like if I had ever heard, and now I have 2 N's at the end of this name, 8 down, and that's not right. So it took me a minute to realize, I think I commit to AC Milan, which is correct, and it took me a minute to realize that candle was not the right answer here. But I didn't really know what to do with it, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to go elsewhere and see what else I can figure out. For a minute, I thought maybe it's isn't it, but it made me sad. So I just took these out because they weren't clear to me at all. And when in doubt, I think it's best to leave it open. You can always fill it in later. Oh, I was wrestling. And then I finally was like, okay, let's go. Clutch hitter, I didn't know. I kept wanting to say Sayo here for 18 across, S-E-Y-O, and that was giving me a ray for that hitter. No, all bad things. So I was like, okay, this I suspected was going to be TVs, which gave me the V for the start of 35, and I thought, oh man, I just couldn't imagine how that was going to work. So I kept going and looking at some of the, now when the chips are downed, that to me said we're talking about some kind of chips you eat, and I wasn't sure exactly. Lovingly in the store, that is very tough. Is courting out of one's league, so to speak. I suspected that was going to be up somehow. And a Reddit Q&A is an AMA, or Ask Me Anything. No, blew up. You could see here, I was really fumbling. I felt like, oh, this is not right. But I did know Ann Mira was Jerry Stiller's partner, parents of Ben Stiller. So that I was certain was correct. And I took a guess here. Let me see if I fill in 38 for caller. Which at this point I felt a little desperate. So Lichtenstein is a pop artist. And so once I realized that was art, I kind of just thought, well, let's go with this. And if it's wrong, I'll find out eventually. It's the law. No, not giving me anything there. Happy to help. Not yet. I'm thinking about it though. Now, I think I go back to 47 across. This one, I was like, real? Nothing, everything I wanted to put in was not fitting in a lot of different places. Courting out of one's league, what was screwing me up here is I wanted to say use the ing, but it wasn't fitting. So I knew it was going to be up, so I just fit that in, and then you can see, let's see, where do I go? Yeah, this, I'm still searching. Now I know this is Uma, right? Uma Thurman is in all the Kill Bill movies, and this would be uses. Thank God for Uma. Oh man, that was a crucial. So this is, I think, Los Alamos. And the thing that I knew Alamos was right, and this is going to be, oh, I don't fill it in yet. I knew this was going to be I sure for 50 across, but I kept wanting to say I sure will, and so it was causing consternation, and then I couldn't remember if it was Las or Los. I did fill in 33 down, which was dating above, is courting out of one's league, so to speak, and that's dates up. That is 33 down. Festival flyer, even to this minute, I can't remember what that is. And this I thought was like create or something. So I come back here, I'm like, all right, well, wished. This is funny that I got this one. So I think I fill in wish here, and it's bad. Love, bad, me, welcome. Love, wish, me, welcome. And then this is bad clip. So thank God I got a little bit of a clue there. Blew up is got mad. And this can only be Creole. And that leads me to say, oh, hang on, this is Amoroso, which I've never seen in a musical score, but, and then, oh, I don't fill that in, but it becomes pretty apparent what 50 across is going to be. I don't know why it wasn't at that moment. Number of Beethoven operas, I was pretty sure was 1, but I didn't want to fill it in because I didn't know. And also this one I waited on, but I knew at this moment it was Iggy, and I didn't fill it in. And I should have, because why not? These were not going to be straight up guesses, so I had to work with what I had. You can see I'm kind of panicky here. Show to be fabricating. No, no, no. And here I say, hold up, hold up. I think this is where I fix this. I recommit to init. This name can't be anything but Irene, is what I kept realizing as I cycled through this. Here I was like, I started thinking about this as pad. I was like, this has to be pad of some kind. I didn't write it down yet, but I will shortly. Here I start messing around, and at one point I put in actually twal, I think, which is completely not wrong, but I couldn't imagine what else was going to go there. So sometimes, even though I suspect it's going to be wrong, if I'm doing this where I'm just bouncing around and I can't get anything, I'll actually put in a wrong to see if it does something. Do I figure this out finally? Because clearly the answer is going to be I sure can. And I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, but that's clutch. It's the law was holding me up. And even with this answer, I still was like, hang on just a second. June's barking. Hang on, please. Okay, sorry for that. Let's keep going. One may be hanging by a thread. We're under a lot of pressure. Oof, say flower. I was so close with say, oh, it's not right, but many modern chess playing program. I thought this is going to be AI something. So I put in AI coded. Oh, I didn't fill it in yet. Eventually I will do that. Total mess. I have no idea. So I was like, let's try coded. It'll get me something. This was not going to be helpful because I had no clue. Even when I got it right, I didn't know. And here, I'm wondering, yeah, I kept thinking this was going to be like a lens or something. And so I was like, okay, I don't know. So I'm going to put in 12, which is a fabric. It does show up in the crossword puzzle a lot, but hint, hint, it does not have diagonal ribbing, not in the least. So I did myself no favors here, and I was like, that's not working. This isn't working. I was feeling, you can tell, just at a loss. I had no idea. So I come back here and I say to myself, Katie, this has to be Irene. It has to be. There's no other answer. So I put in it back in and I said, hang on. Hanging by a thread. What about a needle? And that clears the way because Adrian was spelled wrong. And I think no limits. Because it's not going to be no bounds because boundaries is in the clue. We're under pressure. And I said the heat is on, I believe. Yeah. Do I get this here? Not yet. But I do see a cackle is going to end in haha, so I start thinking about that. Certain brain freezers, I was like, I don't know. Danger signal. Now this is where I get into trouble because coded in the 3 down is not correct. So this is messing me up a little bit. Obviously not going to be helpful. And at last, Martin Luther King. I kept thinking that might be a Kennedy speech. Rightly, Martin Luther King, which somewhat confirms in my mind that Twal could be right, but this laughing clue going down, oh, is not going to work here. Again, who knows? I kept thinking like Lucas. Not helpful. Here I fill in Sierra. I was right so many turns ago. Like some parties, that could have been anything at that point. And I say to myself, do I fill this in here? This is stag, ultimately. And I'm like, am I ready to commit to that? I thought it would be that. And wow, still riding the fence on that one. So I come back here and I'm starting to look at this and I'm like, this isn't right. I do think, yeah, I'm looking here because I'm starting to see like, what if this is? And this is where I think, oh, nope, it's not. Boy, did I click around. See, there was not a lot of feeling sure about things. I think I come back, yeah, I tried card, and that, I was thinking like data card, or you know those cards that they used to use in computers, but this is not right. So I look at this and I say to myself, self who grew up in the 80s, you know what this could be? I'm going to commit to Irene because I've had enough. And I think maybe this is stag after all. Not yet. Okay, I'm looking at coded here and I'm like, no, this is not right. I keep seeing Adderall here and that doesn't make any sense. Bring together, you amass. You bring together a bunch of stuff, which makes that mwahaha, sinister laugh, twill, and SLR. Now, SLR to me that's 5 down. SLR is to me not a camera spec, but okay, I guess. Now I know that coded is still not right, but I'm like, okay, maybe there's a rapper named Lacar. There's not. I think at this point, I'm finally like, I gotta take coded out of here. But I do know that some of those letters are right. And could this be vape something? Maybe. I'm thinking here, digging deep in the gray cell, and I'm like, how do I get TVs in there? And what comes before it? I still, at this moment, don't know what festival flyer is. I have no idea. Sugar Source, though, is certain brain freezers. I don't know what this is. Oh, slushies is what I try. Yeah, that was key because now I can see that this CR business is not right. And I see plasma TVs, and plasma actually comes to me, which is why I start that way. That's when I realize that the R isn't right here. This has to be some kind of pad. And the heat is on is throwing me off. So I take it out for the minute because I think this is steno. But that does give me stag. So I fill that in. Now we're getting somewhere. It's still not right, but we're getting somewhere. Because 1980s, Reggie Jackson. Oh, I'm going to get it. That's what 13 down is eventually. Yeah, I see juice here. And I'm like, hang on, a whole bunch of stuff isn't right here. But this, when I fill in juice, yeah, I can see that steno's not going to be right. This is vape, VAPE juice, which I'll get in short order here. I'm annoyed even with myself. I'm like, what was the problem? But that's the key at a second look, right? So I determine, okay, the heat is on, is right, and now I see Reggie Jackson. And I'm like, duh, he played baseball with glasses on for most of his career, if not all of it. He was Oakland A. And finally, I'm like, this is not AI coded. This has to be alarm bell, which means Lamar is the hip hop artist. And that because AI model is the answer for 3 down, and then we have seatbelt here, which is a flight restriction. And then we get stamp pad. And my 18 across was not Sayo, it's Sago, which is a daisy. Sugar source here is cane, and because of that, I turn this over, and I'm like, hang on, that's catching a lie. That's the fabricating thing. A festival flyer is a kite? Excuse me, what does that even mean? Number of Beethoven operas proves to be 1, and here's where I'm like, oh, would have been nice for me to fill that in early because then I see immediately Eeyore and I see singles as some kind of hits. And into is the guess that I'm having, so I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's right. Let's do the acrosses and just do this. That is steer and horse. And this is going to solve it. Checking, checking. So there we have it. It wasn't pretty. It was not pretty, but it got done, and I do want to show you my stats for Saturday. Let's look here for just a minute, and I'm gonna show you. Yeah, I'm gonna show you my stats as the last item of business. So my stats for Saturdays, my best is 11:15, low many years ago. I don't know what was happening there, but my average is 30 minutes typically, because I take them leisurely, but also because I think this was very typical in the way that it's solved, and today's was 22:41. So I can't be mad about that. Not at all. So every day this week, I'm pretty sure I've beaten my average, or I think I did a couple of the early puzzles live, and those are always a little bit slower. But I will put this W in the win column. That's a significantly faster time for me on Saturday, which I do like. And there was nothing about this puzzle that really caught my attention in a clever kind of way, or would make me think like, oh man, they deserve credit for this one. It was fine. It was fine. It was an okay Saturday. I will say I'm looking forward to Sunday. These puzzles this week have felt both easier and less inspired to me. I mean, no shade, but part of the reason that last week's were so tricky is because they had cleverness built in that I wasn't expecting. So I'm looking forward to Sunday and finishing up this week, and let's hang on to our streak if we can, So thanks for joining. If you haven't, consider liking and subscribing to getting the word out that I do these every day, and I'll see you tomorrow for our Sunday Solve with me. Until then, it's a gorgeous day here. I hope you have a great Saturday.